So today we're going to be trying out some new products. The product line is called Clean. Now these are from Pan the Organizer. We're going to be trying out 3 of the products today. The shampoo, tire dressing, and the ceramic spray sealant. Now this job here is actually a maintenance job on a ceramic coated vehicle. However, this was ceramic coated back in 2022 with Crystal Serum Light from G-Technic. So we've been maintaining this every 6 months or so. Now before we even get started, I want to say that these products were sent to us by the House of Rags. And of course, it's the exclusive provider of Clean products. But in no way is this a paid promotion video or anything like that. In fact, it's not really even a review video. I'm simply going to use the products and tell you how I like them. But as far as durability ranges of the ceramic spray wax or what the tire dressing is going to look like in a couple of weeks, well, I really can't do that with this vehicle, and I really can't do that with a lot of our customers' vehicles because I don't see them that often. Now, I'll probably use some of this stuff in my own vehicle, and you'll be able to see some of the long-term durability on my own personal vehicle. So stick around if you do want to see some of that in the future. But let's go through our process. We're going to pre-wash this, and I am going to use a different pre-wash. I'm going to be using Jimbo's Super Soaper to pre-wash it. So I'm just going to do a pre-soak. No rinsing or anything. I've been trying that method out now for about a month. So far, it seems to work on most vehicles. On really, really dirty vehicles, not really. But this one is not horribly dirty because it is washed at least on a semi-regular basis by the customer. He does a good job of maintaining it. So we're going to soak it, do our pre-wash, of course, and then we'll foam it up with the Clean shampoo, contact wash it, and then we'll dry it. We'll apply the ceramic spray sealant. Why? Because I'm maintaining it. It's okay. I can put any type of ceramic based spray sealant or spray detailer to put on top of the coating. That's what I'm going to do with every single one of our customer ceramic coated vehicles. That's how I properly maintain it. And I get great results from that. Whether it's the coating or whatever I'm putting on top of it that keeps beading and keeping the car cleaner, it does not matter to me or the customer as long as it looks and cleans like that. So let's get started on this thing. So what are my thoughts on pre-soaking like this without pre-rinsing or doing our normal APC method? Well, so far on most of the vehicles that we've been doing that aren't incredibly dirty, it works well. We have had a few vehicles in that were pretty dirty. They weren't washed in a couple of weeks, and that dirt was really stuck onto the paint. And what I found was it didn't quite cut all the way through it. But to be fair, even an APC wouldn't cut all the way through it. Sometimes the grime on paint is so stuck on that it's going to need contact washing, but it gets the majority of the heavier junk off the paint. The stuff that would actually create problems, issues, scratches, swirls, things like that on the paint, it's going to remove the majority of that, leaving you with just a film that needs to be removed with contact washing. And we have lots of stuff already falling. All these trees. So we'll let that soak as long as we can. Once we start to see it dry like this and drag down on the paint, then we start to rinse it off. So with just the pre-soaking alone, you can see that the beading is just awesome. So the owner does a good job of maintaining this. It's doing an incredible job of keeping its hydrophobics. And that's what we want to see after a pre-wash, is at least beading like that. It doesn't always happen because some vehicles are really dirty, but in this case, that's Crystal Serum Light after 2 years. So as far as bug removal, because it is ceramic coated, again, it does a really good job of releasing all the bugs. On the mirrors, it did a good job. This one's got some tough bugs that don't want to come off with just chemical and rinsing.
I sprayed it actually.
Oh, you didn't spray it?
I don't know.
Go ahead and hit it. Oh, okay. That did much better. Still a little bit there, but not bad. If we want to remove that before we do contact washing, I'm using some bug remover from Shine Supply. That'll eat the rest of it off. But the rest of the bugs on the bumper pretty much all came off. I see a few little bug splats here and there, very, very tiny ones, but that will easily be removed with a contact wash. So this is pan soap, clean, really nice thick foam. That was just 1 ounce in about 20 ounces of water. Really, really nice thick foam. All right, let's get to contact washing. After the wash, I need to show you guys the paint. But before that, the wheels were coated, but it's been past 2 years. Coatings on wheels, I have found, don't really go past 2 years. So they're clean, they look nice and glossy. A tiny bit of beading, but not much. So what I usually do is spray something like this. A spray-on rinse-off sealant. This one's from Purist. Spray it on, immediately rinse it. It'll get into all the hard-to-reach areas. And it'll make it easier to clean for the next couple of months until we see it again. Now the paint, on the other hand, looks incredible. Beading all the way to the bottom. Coating is holding strong. It looks incredible. Very, very happy. Of course, I have not really been let down by Crystal Serum Light. Unless the customer is just trashing their vehicle, not taking care of it, which I've had at least one vehicle that has come back after 3 months and the owner just never washed it, never did anything to it. So the coating was clogged and we had to unclog it. And even then it was performing at like maybe 90%, 80%. So guys, even though you are applying ceramic coatings to your customers' vehicles, never promise certain durabilities or longevities unless you are maintaining it meticulously, or unless the customer is maintaining it meticulously, because it makes a big difference. You don't just slap protection on and assume it's going to work. Still takes work to maintain it and make sure that it's doing its job. All right, this is looking great. So we're gonna, oh, that's right, and we're gonna put that on the, we're gonna put it on the grill as well. Look at all these hard to reach plastics and painted parts all mixed in. So we spray it all over those areas, rinse it off, and then we can blow dry it easier. All right, that's much nicer. That'll make things easier to clean. So yeah, you can put it on paint and plastic. So the paint is looking fantastic. It's still very glossy. It still feels pretty smooth. I think there are some areas that could use a decon, maybe an iron decon, maybe even a very, very gentle clay towel decon. But so far, everything is holding up really, really well. I won't go to that length until I start to see the coating maybe get clogged up a little bit more. Doesn't mean that it's necessarily breaking down, but it could be clogging up, depending on how the owner is caring for it. Of course, again, this is just very well maintained. The owner does a great job of cleaning his own vehicles. We do have some chips and things like that here, but that's to be expected with a daily driver, and it's a family vehicle as well. So what I'm going to do is top it with the clean ceramic sealant. Now, keep in mind, because I'm using it as a topper like this, I'm not going to necessarily see its durability range, and really that's not what this is meant for. I really don't do too many of those videos because of the extensive variables that come into play. So if something works for me here, like Crystal Serum Light, some people don't even get a year out of it. Why? I don't know. I don't know if it's because of the environment or the way that it was applied. It could be user error, it could be a bad batch of coating, it could just be environmental factors, or the customer is not taking care of their vehicle properly. There's too many factors that come into play to say yay or nay on a certain product. To me, it just doesn't make sense anymore, and I don't even bother with testing products on panels or things like that to an extensive degree. If I put something on my vehicle, I'll apply it, and then I will, go about my business with the vehicle, drive it, clean it when I clean it, and that's it. It's kind of real world, but that's real world for me. Real world for someone else could be different because their real world is washing it every week or every 2 weeks. And, city driving, country driving, where is it parked, where is it stored? All those come into question. So if you are questioning a product's durability and seeing things on YouTube, I don't trust it. I don't trust it because I've experienced things in real life that kind of, I don't know, for me prove that certain products are either good or bad, or the way that the environment is in that particular area where that detailer is just not the same as mine. So I'm going to get different results. You're going to get different results with your products than the other detailer who's across the country or across the world. And if you don't think about those things, then if you're just watching product reviews and just thinking that those are just substantial right or wrong reviews, I don't know what to tell you, but it doesn't really make sense to me. So I'm going to top this with the spray sealant because I can, because that's how I maintain ceramic coatings. And as long as it's always beading and it's easier to clean, it's all that matters to me and the customer. That's the most important thing. So as far as application wise, first thing I noticed that the smell is great, a fruity smell. Application is extremely easy and straightforward. You can spray on the paint. I prefer the towel. I feel I can control it better. And it increases the slickness tremendously. Going from the untreated panel, which is still ceramic coated, but wow, okay, very nice. Okay, I mean, as far as that goes, I love it. We'll see when it comes back in, 6 months or so, and if it's still beading like it was today, does that mean it's this product, or does it mean it's the ceramic coating? I don't care. Doesn't matter to me, as long as it's doing its job. As long as the paint is beading and easier to clean. That's all I care about. So yes, you could possibly just keep applying a sealant like this every 3 to 6 months. However, we have a base coat here. Could that make a difference? I think so. A good base coat of a ceramic coating that is hardy, that is bonded to the paint and doing its job, anything applied on top of it may not stick or bond perfectly, depending on what product it is, but a ceramic-based product is going to bond to a ceramic-based product. They bond very well to each other. It's not like back in the day where certain sealants wouldn't bond to certain waxes. Everything bonds to everything nowadays, especially with the spray on rinse off products. Anything ceramic based, it's going to all bond to each other. So I'm not really worried about that anymore. I've not seen any detrimental effects to topping a ceramic standalone sealant on top of a standalone ceramic coating. doesn't make a difference at all. I have not seen any negative effects to it whatsoever. In fact, it only produces a better end result to me. I mean, that's just what I have been seeing. I've been applying ceramic sealants like this on top of coatings for years, and it makes a huge difference for me and the way that my vehicles turn out and the satisfaction of my customers. They love it. Yeah, I like this stuff. I have to be honest, it is very, very slick, super easy to apply. We'll see when it comes back what it looks like. I'm sure it'll be awesome. Why is it glossy here, but not on this? That seems more like a factory defect. Something doesn't seem right. Oh, weird. The trim is worse on the other side. So it might be parked in the sun on that side. This side is not that bad. It's still kind of retaining its gloss. So now let's use the clean tire dressing. So we're going to apply it with a little brush like this little guy. I do like this. I got this little guy from Temu, but you can get them on Amazon. And we're going to apply it onto the brush. Different ways of applying it. You can apply it onto the tire, but I like to control it with a tool like this, with a brush or foam applicator, but I find that this brush utilizes more of the dressing, unlike the foam where it can kind of soak into the foam. But use whatever one you want. It's no problem, as long as it works. Work it into all of these little letters and lines. These Michelin tires have, or at least this brand of, or at least this type of Michelin tire has these little lines that the bristles of this brush just work right into perfectly. And I'm just going to keep working it into the tire until I see that it's nice and evenly applied. And we'll give this, I don't know, maybe an hour, and then we'll see what the tire looks like. If we need to reapply it or wipe anything down, we'll see. And for the wheel itself, even though we already sprayed protection on it, I'm just going to use a little bit of Ethos Ceramic Refresh and just wipe the wheel down with it. There's always areas that are missed on the wheel. I want to make sure that everything is wiped and clean, with no smudges or little areas of brake dust that weren't completely cleaned off. And I'll show you a tool that I use to get into the lug nut areas. It's a simple tool, but very, very effective. This little guy. You can get these on Amazon. They're just little plastic flexible tools. I put it in the towel, give it a little bit of a spray, and then I work it into the lug nuts. It's flexible enough to go into the lug nuts and pretty much clean out the whole area really well. Initial application. It looks very shiny, right? We'll give it some time. I'm not going to wipe it down yet. I'm going to give it time to soak in, and then we'll come back in maybe an hour or so and see what it looks like. The weird thing is, you can see on the driver's door here that this part is still retaining its gloss, while this is starting to fail. But once we go over to here, this has already failed and it's starting to wear away. What's going on? I have no idea. But on this side, the gloss is fine. The trim seems to be fine all the way onto this side here. But here is starting to fail also. So what's going on? I don't know. Those were ceramic coated just like the rest of the paint. Paint looks fantastic, but the trim, not so much. So we're dealing with a weird surface here. A satin type of finish or paint or who knows what is not performing well. It's not the coating's fault at all, because the coating is doing its job on the paint and everywhere else, but not this surface. So if people apply some sort of protection to this type of trim and then you start to see it fail like this, is it the product or is it the surface you're working on? It's kind of anybody's guess at that point, but to me, it seems like it's the surface not performing well. It's not the type of finish that bodes well on a vehicle like this. Looks cool in the beginning, but fails over time. I would just rather have this painted white or gloss black. Not a fancy finish like this that over time, it just doesn't stand the test of time. Everything else in the vehicle is looking great, however. So, when it comes to claiming that a certain product is the best, what does that really mean? What does the best product mean to you? How do you really determine if a product is the best or not. Really, the best product is whatever works for you in your experience. And that's just really what it comes down to, especially with detailing products, because there are so many in the market and we're dealing with so many different variables and different vehicles, different surfaces, in different environments, people treating their vehicle differently. There's no way to 100% test a product to determine if it is the best or not. So the moral of the story is the best product is only the best in your experience. You will always have people who have negative things or positive things to say about the same products. For instance, years ago when Meguiar's came out with their ceramic spray coating, or their ceramic spray sealant, the one in the blue bottle, that caused so much controversy. And for what? Why? Some of it was fake controversy. YouTube videos just bashing a product to get views. So can you trust those? And you can tell if they are those types of videos or not, because the information in the videos just don't make sense at all. Because then you'll see other people actually using the product. Those videos might be longer and there might be a lot of talking and demonstrating. They may not be as flashy, they might not be trendy or anything like that, but they show you how to use the product in their experience and in their environment, and they show you the results that they get. Tons of mixed results and mixed opinions on just that one product. Same goes with the Hybrid Solutions products, their spray coating and their wet wax. When those products came out, lots of different YouTube detailers were using those products, us included, and we were showing them in the real world, in our real world, in our mobile jobs, in the jobs in our shop, in our garage, and we're showing you the results that those products get. But again, if you go on YouTube, you see tons of mixed result reviews on those products. Some hate it and they tested it in their own way and didn't get great results, and then others that tested it in their way and got great results. So who are you going to trust? Who's right, who's wrong, who are you going to believe? I can't tell you that. You're going to have to base that off of what you see and also what you experience in your own real world testing. Do not rely on just reviews of products. I don't mind watching some of those reviews to get an idea and see how or why they're applying it in a certain way, and sometimes kind of tear those reviews apart in my own mind and experiment for myself, do exactly what they did and prove to myself whether it was right or wrong. There are certain things you'll see in YouTube videos that are just not done correctly, or in your own opinion they're not done correctly, but you don't need to voice your opinion on there. You don't have to leave a comment and say it was done wrong or anything like that, because that's not helping anybody. What does help is making your own videos on the product. Not bashing anyone, but taking that all out of the video completely and just show your experience, how you apply it, the results that you got, and your best way of applying it. That is going to help the detailing community more than anything. Show what works for you, give your experience, and leave it at that. My experience with the clean products from Pan are awesome. The three that we use, the shampoo, the ceramic spray sealant, and the tire dressing, they all performed really well for us. I especially love the ceramic spray sealant. So guys, if you want to get your hands on some of the clean products by Pan the Organizer, I'll have links down below, and I think I have a discount code. It might be a limited time one, but check out the description down below and you'll see the links there. And if I have a code, it'll be down there as well. Now, we started our own podcast and it's on this channel. I'm not going to separate it and put it on another channel just yet, but they're audio only podcasts. If you want to listen to those, maybe while you work, I'll put one here so you can enjoy it later.